Welcome to the Web3 Native podcast, where we dive deep into the ideas, people, and technologies shaping the future of Web3. I'm Emma Tsui, and each episode we will sit down with founders, builders, and thought leaders that are shaping the frontiers of Web3. Together, we will explore what it really takes to build in crypto today and where the next wave of innovation is headed. As a reminder, none of the discussions are meant for investment advice. Today, we're interviewing the CEO of Etherfi, and Etherfi is a portfolio company of Longhash. All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking all the time, Mike. Really glad to host you. We've been an investor in Etherfi since the Series A rounds, but you guys have just grown exponentially from that round, and love to use this opportunity to dive deeper into, a lot more about Etherfi. So first of all, can we start by getting you to introduce yourself to our listeners and your role at Etherfi?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of Etherfi.
How did you, as usual, I think to get things started off, right? We want to understand, how did you get into crypto? What's your journey, and what's your journey leading to build Etherfi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess I've been interested in crypto and playing around with the space for a long time, since like 2010, 2011. I originally read the white paper, soon after it, the Bitcoin white paper, soon after it came out. And fairly quickly got excited about it. I ended up buying some Bitcoin back in 2011, back when it was 80 cents a coin.
Wow.
I don't even think
That's
there were
early.
exchanges at that time. Yeah, I just sent some guy $20 on PayPal, and then
Yeah.
he sent me some Bitcoin. And I kept following the space, but in parallel to that, I was actually working on my first company, which was a tech startup in the education technology space. I'd spent actually about 10 years building that business, pretty much right out of undergrad university. And then when we sold that business back in 2021, I decided to switch gears and make crypto my full-time focus. And the way that we entered the space was actually by starting a hedge fund. So that's actually what Etherfi originally was. Is we were a fund that was doing mostly delta neutral strategies.
I didn't know this. Interesting.
Yeah, and we were actually doing some staking as well, like ETH staking with some DeFi, DeFi leverage on top of that.
Yep.
After about a year, I decided that I really wasn't that interested in running a fund. I'm much more of a product guy. I like building stuff and working with customers. That's when we decided to pivot and turn the fund into a product, which eventually became Etherfi.
I remember Etherfi started when it was all the hype around restaking, right? You guys were really
That's
one
right,
of the
yeah.
top runners there, and then quickly expanded to a lot more from restaking. Yeah, and it was only within short 2 years you guys kind of grow to the current size. That's pretty amazing. Of course, we will dive deeper into the current offerings and some of the journeys you guys have been through. Can you talk us through, how did the Etherfi team come together? Because I was very impressed with the execution of the team. I guess it makes sense when you were introducing your background, because you were a one-time founder, right? You have led a ed tech company, managed 500 people. So compared to a lot of founders in crypto, I would say you're extremely experienced, because we constantly look at people who just came out of university, right, and trying to make it big in crypto. And I think it's kind of coming through in the execution of the team. So can you quickly talk about the core team background, and how did you guys come together? Was it the Etherfi fund team?
Yeah, a lot of the team actually was
Mm.
there from the early days, from when we were running the fund. So with Rock, who is a co-founder and head of growth, we actually worked together back at my previous company, Top Hat, and then a couple of our developers actually joined when we were still a fund. Anyway, yeah. So a lot of the team was actually there as part of the fund. But of course,
Yeah.
although we're still pretty small, we've hired some. Most of the people were came after we turned into a product company.
Yeah, I feel it's so important the initial core team have actually worked together.
Hmm.
So that experience definitely helps. For listeners who may not know Etherfi well, how do you describe it in one sentence?
Hmm. Yeah, I tell people that what we're building is what's called a DeFi bank, which is basically a crypto native banking alternative. So the intent is to give people everything they need and everything they get from their traditional bank, but built on crypto rails. So if you were to use the product, day to day, it would look and feel very much like a fintech product, like a Revolut
Mm,
or a Nubank or Chime or
mm,
any of those players. But with the same kind of usability and ease of use, and integrated experience. But as I said, it's fully self-custodial and has the flexibility and power of DeFi.
yeah, yeah. No, I guess that's DeFi Bank is the way to sum it up.
Yeah.
And you guys have done an amazing job, right? Leveraging the initial traction of liquid restaking. And I think I read somewhere your TVL has grown 4 to 5 times even since the restaking days, right? To
Hmm.
now, and also expanded to this much bigger version of DeFi Bank. Can you walk us through that vision, or did you think just now maybe we already kind of touched on that? Is there anything you want to expand? Like, what does a crypto-powered neobank look like in 5 to 10 years' time?
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I would say, I mean, there's a lot of things we could talk about, but one of the most important things about it is that it's just a very large market.
Mm,
If you look at all of DeFi today, the amount of revenue and real world use cases is actually quite small. Whereas if you look at the neobanking space, it's a massive market, right? There's about $170 billion in revenue being generated today, and it's growing at 20 to 30% a year. So that market is 50 times larger than all of DeFi combined. And I always say that the market for gambling is always a tiny fraction for of the market for real world use cases. Um, so that's I would say that's the thing that's exciting to me most about it is that I think we can build one of the first true breakthrough DeFi apps that reaches individual users and just gets substantial scale.
no, absolutely. I feel like 2025 is really like the chat GPT year for stablecoin rails, right? And stablecoin rails powered kind of DeFi bank.
Hmm.
I think a lot of my normie friends for the first time is like, oh, actually, crypto is not just Bitcoin,
Hmm.
and meme coins. Oh, there's stablecoin, and you can actually use it
Hmm.
for payments and stuff. So I think that's quite fascinating. Um, so
Yeah, for
you
sure. I mean,
think,
I would
yeah,
say we'll be in we'll know that crypto is really starting to enter mainstream when actually people are using crypto without even realizing it, in the same
yeah,
way that, obviously lots of people use the internet, for basically everything. But people don't think of it as using the internet when they change the temperature on their thermostat at home, or or even when they order a taxi. Like they don't think of it as like, oh, I'm using the internet. They're using a service that helps them get a job done. And in the
yeah.
same way, I think people will just use these financial tools without really having to think too hard about it. But it'll be powered by crypto rails.
Yeah. I like to think that the whole DeFi rail is like the fastest engine, right? You're swapping out the legacy backend in the
Hmm.
traditional banking infrastructure, and with this thing that's much faster, settles real time, right? Cost a fraction of today's cost. It's just gonna be like
Hmm.
this amazing um, upgrade from the backend perspective.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you've been building Etherfi for 2 years now. What has been the biggest challenge in building Etherfi? Because I think you guys started building the bear market, right?
Hmm.
Or just like at the beginning of the bull, kind of captured the good momentum going up, right? What's been the challenge so far, and how did your team overcome it?
Um, yeah, I feel like there have been so many of these like rapid cycles during the time that we've been building, right?
Yeah,
There was a period of time where like, well, obviously the price of ETH went down to like, I don't know, 1,200, 1,300 at one point, even while Bitcoin was rallying. There was a period of time when the regulatory environment was extremely strained, let's say.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it just feels like there have been a lot of ups and downs over the last couple of years. I don't. I mean, there have been so many different challenges. Most of it, honestly, has to do with just figuring out how to build a product that's useful and the users love. I mean, that's what matters more than anything, right? And so like uh, going from like building this expanded platform from staking to then the liquid strategy, DeFi strategy vaults, to then adding the card product. The biggest challenge is just making sure at every stage the product is actually good and feels like an integrated whole.
I think you touch on some really important points, right? Like in crypto, I totally agree with you. It's only been a few months since what ETH was at 1.4K, right? Everybody thinks ETH is
Yeah.
going to zero. And there's no, people were super pessimistic, and then price starts to
Hmm.
move and people are bullish again. And then regulatory
That's right.
wise as well, right? It was operation choke point. People felt like we're never
Hmm.
gonna see light at the end of the tunnel, and then here we are, right? You have the most crypto friendly kind of regulation administration in the US. Some of the current regulatory framework is just something unthink of.
Hmm.
Also, I feel like, because we've been investing in crypto since 2017 as well, and one of the things I find founders struggle with is it's hard to differentiate if you're building for a short narrative or you're building for real demand. I don't know if you feel that's the case, because I feel sometimes when I talk to founders, it's quite distractive, right? Because in crypto, every couple of months, there's this new narrative, right? Whether
Hmm.
it's from ecosystem perspective or from a kind of vertical perspective, right? Should you build for AI agents? Should you build for DeFi? Should you build? There's just constantly a lot of noise going around,
Hmm.
right? Some turns out to be persistent trends. Some turns out to be short term, like, a speculative narrative. Being able to distinguish that and think from first principle perspectives, I think it's just such an important skill for founders. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if you,
Yeah,
you
no,
kind of
I
resonate with
100%
that.
agree. I mean, I would say 90% of everything that's going on in crypto at any given time are these short-term narratives that are, very gambly and just focused on, pumping a token, usually. Um, yeah, so that's in our case. I mean, we're very, very focused on building products that have utility, that actual we're building products that people can actually use in their day-to-day lives. We've got
Yeah,
now almost 150,000 people that have registered for accounts on Etherfi. And that's just since we've had accounts in the last couple months. Prior to that, obviously, we've
yeah.
had hundreds of thousands of wallets using the product, but these are actual accounts with real people. And anyway, and that's a way to stay grounded, is just focusing on real utility that people can feel as they use the product.
Yeah, that's actually a good segue. I would love to dive deeper into the current product offering, and perhaps if you can talk about give us a sneak view of what's coming in terms of product offering as well.
Sure.
But first, let's dive deeper into the current product offering. I know we've got stake, liquid, and cash, right? So
Hmm.
liquid is basically the bots that's generating yields, and then we've got the cash, which is basically card for spend and burn. And I try to apply, but because I'm in Singapore, I don't think the jurisdiction is
Right.
supported yet. So I'm
Yeah,
eagerly
unfortunately, yeah.
waiting, eagerly waiting. But from what I'm hearing and reading, there's explosive demand and growth. Do you mind kind of walking us through the different product lines and give us some more concrete metrics in terms of the current usage and traction?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would say the most important way to think of it is one integrated experience.
Mm,
As I was saying, the integrated experience is something we call the DeFi bank, and it has a lot of
mm,
features.
yeah.
Like hundreds of different things that you can do with it. So the best way to describe it is. From the user experience standpoint, you would download the app on your phone, for example. You'd be able to deposit fiat dollars into it through a wire transfer, because you get a virtual bank account built into it. Or you could actually, deposit it from an exchange or deposit money, however you kind of feel like it. Um, uh, then once you've deposited money, you can then buy, convert into Bitcoin or ETH or any number of tokens. You can then stake those assets within Etherfi, and that's sort of like the base yield that you could get within this crypto DeFi bank. Once you've done that, you can then deposit it into DeFi strategies. So with one click, you can deposit it into a diversified set of DeFi strategies that earn yield. These days, I think the real time yield is about 11% on USD. I think 6 or 7% on ETH. And then you can order a credit card if you KYC. You choose to KYC. You can then order a card, and then use that in your day to day life. So that's kind of like the user journey: is deposit money, stake it, put it into DeFi strategies to earn higher yield if you like, and then get a credit card that you can use to spend and borrow against your assets. Um, uh, I would say, within that, there's lots of other kind of nooks and crannies. Like, for example, we have a travel partner that lets you book hotels at discounted rates and get cash back. You get 3% cash back on all the spend
Mm.
on your card. We have a points program and rewards and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's really this, like I said, it's really a comprehensive banking alternative product.
That's pretty fascinating. I feel like we can even go one step further compared to a traditional bank. We're even more capital efficient, right? Because as you were
Hmm.
explaining, with $1 you stake it, and then the derivatives can be put into liquid strategies to generate yield. On the back of that, you can spend the yield, right? So there's no kind of segregation, right? Because I feel like if you put $1 into a bank, you're either putting that behind your credit card or debit card limits, right? Or
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
investing in a product. There's not much DeFi Lego you can play with,
Yeah.
like what we do in DeFi.
Yeah, I think actually that's a really good point. That's actually a very important point. Because in traditional banking, you have, exactly as you say, all these segregated services, right? You've got your checking account, and then completely separate to that, you've got your investment account, and then completely separate to that, you've got, a credit card. Maybe they use. You have another thing for your insurance and your mortgage, and they're all these completely separate things that basically don't talk to each other. The power of
Absolutely.
DeFi and composability is that it allows you to for all these things to work nicely together, and we call it the whole portfolio approach. So you have your portfolio with your equivalent to a checking account, your DeFi
Mm.
strategies that you've deployed into. Eventually, you might have your NFT that represents your car, and another one that represents your house, and that is like your entire financial picture. And then you're able to use that, like the system is able to take advantage of all of your assets and the complete financial picture that represents you, to give you, maybe it's credit, maybe it's additional services. Unlike traditional banking, like you go to a traditional bank and you have $1,000 in your checking account and that's it. All right, that's what you have.
Yep.
That's the extent of
Yep.
which they know about you.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's totally fascinating. Are you able? I got some facts from or stats from the research, right? I don't know if they're still as
Hmm.
updated. I think you guys got a TVL of 11 billion, right?
Hmm.
And you have more than 500 integrations with all the DeFi products across many chains. And you've got,
Hmm.
from a card product perspective, you've got 20,000 users in cards, or maybe that number is higher now. And
Yeah,
also
it's higher now.
more than 1 million in transaction volume per day now for the
That
card
sounds right. Yep.
spending program. Yeah.
Hmm.
So do, are you still pretty confident of the kind of card user acquisition in terms of becoming the largest crypto program by end of the year?
Look, it's certainly growing really fast. I honestly, nobody really knows what the other card programs are doing in terms of volume. So I couldn't tell you, so for certain when we're the largest. But I think once we hit 10 million a day, which should be, maybe late this year, early next year, like that'll be either one of the largest or the largest programs.
Yeah. Well, 10 times growth from now until end of the year, 3 months. That's still pretty
I
aggressive
mean,
target. Yeah.
we're roughly doubling every month. So yeah, 10x actually is right on target.
That's amazing. I think traditionally everybody says distribution is key, right? And I wonder, in the world of DeFi bank, how do we work on this distribution? How do you think about it, right? Because I guess it will be completely different from traditional banks, right? You have to open up a new branch in a new jurisdiction, right? You have to form partnerships with, I don't know, some retail department stores and whatnot. How do we think about distribution here?
Yeah. Well, for us, honestly, our first distribution hack was liquid staking, right?
Mm,
That was the idea. I mean, staking was, I guess, to some extent, still is the largest category in DeFi if you look at
yeah,
TVL.
yeah.
Um, and so that's the reason that we started with it. Is we said, look, this is the biggest market size in this in this category that we're entering. So we built out a staking protocol to get tons of TVL and tons of usage. So that was sort of our distribution hack. And then when we launched the liquid product and now the cash product, that really allowed us to scale up. But moving forward, I mean, the way we're focusing on distribution, of course, is through partnerships, and direct marketing. That we're doing with the KOLs, with lots of even our own users. Like our largest source of user acquisition right now is referrals, actually, from our own customers.
Mm.
Yeah, so there's a whole myriad of strategies that we're focused on.
Got it. Do you think we're still focusing on crypto native users for now? Or is it more like going out to the mass retail who have not heard of crypto, or because I feel like the behaviors will be quite different in crypto.
Hmm.
Everybody is like this crazy power users, right? Like even if you have smaller number of users, the number of volumes, transactions, and
Hmm.
is probably quite high. And also people are less sensitive to fees. I think, right?
Hmm.
Because with the yield you're getting and all these sorts of things. So it probably takes different type of dynamics and strategy to reach out to the main mass market
Hmm.
users. Are you guys thinking about differentiating those two,
Yeah,
or?
100%. I mean, I'd say the majority of our users right now are still going to be DeFi and crypto natives. That's just
Okay.
naturally,
Yeah.
the target audience that we're going after. Um, but that's starting to change. Honestly, probably a solid 10-15% of the users we're getting now are more kind of in the category of normies. where they they heard about the product from their friend, their crypto, their crypto crazy friend. They set it up. I mean, as I was describing the user journey, with someone that deposits money through through their a Plaid integration into the account. Hopefully you could see like none of that really assumes any crypto knowledge, right? That's something that any normal user, ought to be able to do. Um, and so, for that reason, we are starting to see kind of more crypto adjacent or even normie people just enjoying the product because of the rewards that they're able to get.
I know. I think it's gonna totally blow their mind, right? With the cashbacks, the 10% intrinsic yields they're getting. you know, uh,
Hmm.
the credit cards in fiat world just very hard to compete.
Hmm.
Um, and I would love to kind of talk about the future product offering.
Hmm.
Because I know recently you guys become heavily integrated with Hyperliquid ecosystem, right? And
Hmm.
potentially integrating trade product. Are you able to shed some light, talk about this product?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're the intention for us is to build a what we call Etherfi Trade, which is a product that integrates Hyperliquid and plugs into the that ecosystem. We actually worked with a partner of ours called Hyperbeat to launch a liquid staking token on Hyperliquid called BHype. And that's going to be usable within Cash to either leverage or borrow against, or eventually even spend. And then once Etherfi Trade launches, with the advantages that we have around BHype, we'll be able to offer users a better experience and lower trading fees than they would get, from trading directly on their own.
Oh, yes, that's actually a pretty cool feature, I think.
For
Pretty
sure, yeah.
unique in crypto as well. Yeah.
Mhm. And they'll be able um, uh, uh, to use their portfolio, their Etherfi assets, to of course trade spot and perp
Oh,
on
as
Hyperliquid.
collateral, cross
Yeah,
margin.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, that's really cool. When is there a timeline for when this product will be launched?
We've said that it'll be by the end of this year, so it's not going to
Ah,
be.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be over the next few months.
Something to look forward to.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Also, I think for the last 5, 6 months, the market has been crazy about digital asset treasury company. I
Uh-huh.
was looking at some stats from Blockworks. I think all these stats holds what 100 billion worth of assets, right? And I don't remember
Wow,
what's
is
the
it that high?
split. Yeah, I don't remember
Well, I
what's the
guess with
split.
MicroStrategy, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I don't remember what's the split between BTC and the rest of the assets, right? I feel
Hmm.
like BTC maybe it's more just accumulating, but for the rest of the assets like ETH, Solana, right? It
Hmm.
sounds like a lot of them are looking to get very active with managing the assets and generating yields, right? Now, naturally,
Hmm.
I'm thinking there might be potential partnerships with you guys. So,
Right.
are you guys talking to some of them as partnerships? Are you guys exploring actively? What is what's the strategy for you guys?
Yeah, of course, 100%. Yeah, we're talking to a lot of the DAT companies. I mean, any of them that are looking to deploy into DeFi, we want to be their primary partner. With this has already been publicly announced. The ETHZilla, one of the larger Ethereum DATs, has
Yes.
already deployed, I think, over about 150 million into Etherfi. And that's been great partnership, and we're looking to continue that relationship.
No, that would be a great, I guess, as all this, I mean, it's quite controversial, right? Whether those DATs are here to last, there's probably going to be some
Hmm.
consolidations and whatnot. But to me, it does feel like a very creative it's like a hybrid tapping into the capital market structure and in order to accumulate useful or meaningful digital assets, right? In a more efficient way. So I can definitely
Hmm.
see some of the DATs last, and that those will become potentially pretty influential players in this market and partners for
Hmm.
you guys as well. Yeah,
Hmm. Exactly.
yeah. Um, before I think we've got a couple of more minutes. I wanna um, talk about competition because I think crypto this year has been great for crypto, right? Like with the Circle IPO, with the stablecoin cross the chasm being the ChatGPT moment of this year, and it's just there's a lot of interest from both TradFi giants, right? Like PayPal, Visa, Mastercard trying to integrate themselves into the stablecoin rail. You've got Stripe with their Temple chain. You've got Tether launching their own stablecoin chain, Plasma chain, right, and launching their card. And of course, us, a lot of the crypto native companies, right, and launching card programs and trying to kind of
Hmm.
expand into the broader economy. So where do you see us as how do we compete in this market? What's our advantage? Or what's the
Um,
strategy to compete?
yeah, like it's not, in a sense, it's not
Mm,
surprising that lots of folks are following in our footsteps, let's say, and going down this path of trying to create a crypto alternative to traditional banking. There are thousands of players, right, in the neobanking space, and of course, probably tens or even hundreds of thousands of smaller regional banks all over the world. So it's a very large industry. I think we're certainly the furthest ahead as far as offering just a complete product. There have been lots of announcements made, but nobody else has actually gotten to the stage that we're at of putting together a comprehensive offering that the people actually like. So I mean, I welcome let's say the expansion of the market. I think in the end that actually helps everybody. That allows more people to become aware of this category, which in the end expands our addressable market size.
well said. I think the direction is clear. Everybody sees the opportunities. But that means the opportunity is huge, right? But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I think it rests on execution, right? And given how well we've executed over the last 2 years, I feel like we've
Hmm.
got a great head start, right? And a great understanding of the whole entire DeFi ecosystem across
Hmm. Exactly.
multiple dimensions. So certainly very, very bullish Etherfi from
Hmm.
here. Um, and lastly, what should our listeners watch out for next from Etherfi? Or did we already cover that for the trade product? Anything else you
Well,
feel
yeah,
like
we
you want to
talked about
share?
trade. Yeah, I mean, I guess just watch us grow, right? And more importantly, check out the product. Go to ether.fi. You can sign up, and in just a few minutes, you can get a credit card. You can get an app that lets you actually use your crypto in real life and get great rewards like 3% cash back, 5% cash back on travel bookings. It's just yeah, try it out. It's a great product.
Yeah, I feel like all the crypto native companies should issue their company card, probably partner up with you guys, right? Offer this card to the employees. So I'm eagerly
For
waiting
sure,
from
yeah, we
Singapore
have a corporate. Yeah,
program.
we have a corporate product. So yeah, even you guys, if you have a corporate entity somewhere that you can sign up for the card, then you actually could issue it to employees.
Awesome. I'll look into it. Thanks so much, Mike. It's been a great pleasure having you here and talking
Hmm.
through some of the current progress and visions for the future. I know you're coming through to Singapore for Token, so look forward to see
Right.
you face to face.
For sure. Yeah, sounds great. Great chatting with you today.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for tuning into the Web3 Native podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe on Spotify and YouTube and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter for more insights from the frontier of Web3. To learn more about our funds, portfolio, and accelerator, visit www.longhash.vc. Until next time, keep building the future of digital assets with us.